In this section, we are going to look at how to build the simplest Hello World application we possibly can using Angular. So if you look at my WebStorm screen here, you'll see I've got a little tiny project with just two files in it. I've got the Angular library and an index.html file. I've got the index.html file open, and inside you can see I've got the HTML for a very basic page. My goal here is I want to end up with a page with an H1 that says Hello World in it, and I want to use Angular to display that message. So of course one of the first things I need to do is include the Angular script on the page. So I'll add in a script tag. Now that I've got the script tag on the page, I'm going to create my H1 that's going to contain my Hello World message. To stay with good practices, I'm going to keep my script at the bottom of the page and put my HTML above it. So here's my H1 element that I want to say Hello World. What I need is a placeholder in order to fill in the text with a message that Angular will generate. With Angular, the format for those placeholders is a double curly brace and then an expression. In this case, I'll use the identifier hello message. When Angular processes the page, it's going to replace this with the text I want it to use. Now remember a little while ago, I talked about how controllers are the central piece in an Angular application. So I'm going to need to create a controller. I'm going to do that in script as well. So down here, after my Angular script, I'm going to create my own script. And this is where I'm going to create my controller. I define a controller by creating a function. You can see that I've named this function Hello World Controller. I'm using the CTRL suffix convention that you'll see very often in Angular projects. Then I'm going to give this function a parameter called scope with a $sign. This is a special parameter that Angular uses in order to pass data in between the controller and the view. That scope object is now something that I can create properties on. So I'm going to take the scope object and I'm going to create the property hello message. And I'm going to assign it the string hello world. Now I have one more piece to put in place before this will work. I've got to tell Angular that the H1 is controlled by this controller. In order to do that, I've got to declare a controller on the H1 or on some parent of the H1. So I'm going to go up to the H1 and add a special attribute called ng-controller. Angular has a lot of these built-in attributes, and they all start with ng. The ng is short for Angular. Now I'm going to set that property equal to the name of my controller. By doing that, I've told Angular that this H1 and all of its children are managed by the Hello World controller. Now if we open this up in a browser, we'll get the result that we want. And you can see that Angular has processed this page, taken that H1, and put the string Hello World inside of it. And that is our Hello World application with Angular.